Hi, this is Sarah Holmes, host of the Herbal Highway on KPFA Tuesdays from 1 to 2 p.m. with your Herb of the Month. Hello, I'm Sarah Holmes. I'm a co-host of the Herbal Highway on KPFA. And today I have for you the Herb of the Month for May. And for this month, I selected nettles. Some of you also know nettles as stinging nettles. So I have some of the dry plant here. You can see what a beautiful dark green the leaves are. And primarily we're using the leaves. There's a little stem in here. Totally fine, not going to hurt you. And of course, the stems have some medicine too. Nettles are such a good nutritive plant for the nervous system. This is a plant that will feed your nerves, which means you're going to feel better because our nervous system and our emotions are completely intertwined with each other. So if you've been stressed out, you've been busy, you've been nervous, you've been anxious, fill in the blank, nettles are a good plant to think about. The ubiquitous jar of tea we talk about all the time on the Herbal Highway. This is a quart size. So for those of you not real clear on a quart, this is a quart. Okay, it's about a liter. It's about the volume of most of your water bottles that you're used to. So nettles is also antihistamine and helps clean the blood. So this is a good plant to think about. We're in May, the flowers are blooming, there's a lot more pollen in the air, and for some of you, I know that means allergies. So nettles is a good friend to be taking even before you start feeling allergic, as a preventative. And this is the tea. You can kind of see the color there. I've got some herb in the bottom. So your nettle tea should be a dark green. It should be almost black. So you want that deep, rich color for your nettles. This one I made up this morning. So I simmered it on the stove for about 5 minutes. Then I put it in the jar to let it steep. So steeping just means you've got the loose herb in your warm water and it's doing its thing. The water is slowly extracting the medicine from the plant. And probably in another couple of hours, I'll strain it out, strain the plant matter out, and start drinking my tea. Sometimes people are like, I can't do a tea, it takes too much time. I'd rather do a tincture. And that's fine. Absolutely get your medicine in how you can. However, with nettles, I really prefer tea. If you absolutely can't do tea, do a oxymel, which is a apple cider vinegar and nettle, and a little bit of honey. So some of you might like the honey. You're going to get more of the minerals that way, and that's an important part of the medicine we want with nettles. But if you can once a week heat up some water, put a couple handful of herbs in a jar and let it sit for a few hours, you probably have time to do that. So maybe you can pick one day of the week, like Tea Tuesdays, when you tune into the Herbal Highway, and make your jar of tea. Not too much. It's a beautiful way to spend time. And the mark, or the plant matter that you strain out, I like to put under the trees in my backyard. If you don't have a yard, when I was in a city and didn't have a yard, I would put them in a plastic bag and drop them at the base of one of the trees that I walked by, or at a park. But it's a nice way of giving back and letting the plant move on in its own life too. It's good fresh or dry. It has good medicine fresh or dry. The dried herb I probably wouldn't use past a year or two. When it's in this shape, like I showed you, where the leaves are still pretty intact, even though they're dry, it'll last a little longer, probably a couple of years. If it's ground up into a fine powder, the more broken down the plant is, the less time it lasts. So if it's a powder, you're probably going to want to compost it after a year and get the next seasons. This can be used as food too. You can put nettle into soups. Some people like to make pesto out of it. It is called stinging nettle for a reason. If you are going to eat it, don't eat just a fresh leaf raw, because it'll sting your throat. You want to at least blanch it in some hot water. which will take care of the acid, which is what's on the end of the little hairs, which is what causes the sting. So that's all you have to do. So if you're going to make pesto, blanch it first, and then mix it in with all of your yummy ingredients. But it's a good way to get the people in your life eating their medicine. If you want to learn more about nettles or some of these related topics, check out our archives at kpfa.org. I picked out a couple, and one, of course, is a whole hour dedicated to nettles that Renee Camila did on June 7th of 2022. So that's an excellent one. Everything you've wanted to know about nettles, but we're afraid to ask. Renee's probably got covered in that hour. The other one is one on allergies that Emiliano Lemus did in April 6th of 2021. And that also, nettles is that first line of prevention that I like to use for people that are working with allergies. So check out Nettles and have a really beautiful May. So if you'd like to listen to more of the Herbal Highway, you can find archives at kpfa.org and on some of your favorite streaming podcast platforms. If you'd like to follow us on social media, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Herbal Highway. If you'd like to follow me, Sarah Holmes, one of the hosts of the Herbal Highway, you can follow me at Blue Otter School. Renee Camila can be found at La Yerba Buena Herbs, and Emiliano Lemus can be found at Trans Herbalist. And check out KPFA, our home since 1997, on Facebook at KPFA 94.1, or Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at KPFA Radio. We hope to see you soon.